Good afternoon. My name is Marianne Balconis, and I am the EdTech Office Contact Point for the 2018-2021 Instructional Technology Plan and the trainer for this session. My contact information is on the very last slide of this presentation. Please feel free to contact me with any questions. You may also reach out to my colleagues, Joanne and John, by calling the EdTech Office main number also provided on the last slide. And that would be John Campano, because we have two people named John in our office. We have an agenda that will be quite specific, so that you will, once you've finished listening to this recording, you will be ready to do your RIC Reviewer reviews of the tech plan. So I want to welcome you to the Certified RIC Reviewer Training for the 2018-21 Technology Plan. We hope that you will find this recorded session helpful as you prepare to review the technology plans that your districts will submit to you in 2018. This training is only one of several resources that will be available to you throughout the year. In addition to reviewing the agenda items via the PowerPoint slides, we will also go to the SED monitoring system where the plan resides to show you how the technology plan questions look within the online portal. So as you can see, we're going to talk about the NICED vision and goals, the purpose and process, how we want you to do a technology plan evaluation, the SED monitoring system itself, the framework and guidance, the certified review process and evaluation of plans, and some district technology planning best practices for districts to use when they are doing a comprehensive technology plan, which is above and beyond the plan that they will create by answering the questions in the online system. Now we will talk about the vision and goals we have for the instructional technology planning. And these vision and goals underscore NICED's commitment to equitable access to effective, culturally responsive instruction, with a focus on how this commitment can be addressed in part by the proper use of instructional technology. NICED's vision is, as you can see, to ensure that every child has equitable access to the highest quality educational opportunities, services, and supports. And so what we are talking about here is the core belief that all children in New York State deserve the best possible educational opportunities. And we believe that technology can enhance the quality of the education that our students receive. And this is further articulated in the goals on the next page. These goals are all related to technology planning, as you can see. And we first talk about strategic vision and goals on the part of the district. And then we talk about technology-enhanced, culturally and linguistically responsive learning environment. And that is what, the tech plan is all about, technology-enhanced learning environment. Goal number 3 has to do with increasing equitable access to high-quality digital resources and to standards-based, technology-rich learning experiences. So as you can see, all these goals relate to technology. And the 4th one has to do with the network necessary to actually have the connectivity available to use those digital resources. And the last goal has to do with professional development, which is critical to the success of any technology efforts. Within the technology plan that you'll be reviewing, the districts will be expected to provide at least 3 technology goals and to determine for each of those goals which of these 5 NICED goals most closely aligns to that goal. So you'll see that that's part of the plan that you'll be reviewing, and that's the expectation. So these goals are very important and critical to your review of the plan. ETAC, the Educational Technology Advisory Committee, if you're not familiar with it, is an organization that was created in the fall of 2017. The application process generated over 500 applicants from a variety of sources, as you can see: educators, administrators, leaders, parents, members of organizations with an interest in ed tech. And the organization provides feedback, advice, and assistance with our varying initiatives. And one of those, of course, is technology planning. And the Technology Planning Subcommittee of ETAC works very closely with NYSED Educational Design and Technology staff to create the new technology plan that you as a RIC reviewer will be reviewing and certifying and sending on to NYSED when you believe that it's approvable, that it meets the criteria to be an approved plan. So that's the background on how this new plan was created. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the purpose behind collecting technology plans from districts and how that process has evolved. So in 2015, the new online system was introduced, and all school districts in New York State are required to create this baseline technology plan. And in 2015, they responded to questions in the online application, and there were a variety of reasons for it. Other than creating a base technology plan, the plan was designed to streamline technology-related data collection in New York State and potentially have it collected all in one place. An approved plan is also necessary to be eligible for state aid for hardware and software, and may also be required for other forms of state funding. That might also include if a district is applying for its Smart Schools Bond Act money, because that program, that is not run by our office, but that program does require an approved technology plan in order to apply for that funding. Another goal was to use the aggregated data that comes from collecting the technology plan to do technology-related strategic planning at the state level. And finally, the plans are required by the Commissioner's Regulations, Part 100.12, which in brief states that to be eligible for aid for instructional computer hardware and technology equipment expenses, which is pursuant to Ed Law Section 753, a school district shall develop and maintain a plan in a format prescribed by the Commissioner for the use of the instructional computer technology equipment. And that regulation, Part 100.12, can be found in a variety of places on our website. So this slide shows you the list of information that was included in the 2015-2018 plan. You can see we have lots of different sections, and there was a lot of information collected, both qualitative and quantitative, at the district level. And what we found was that the data that we collected on the quantitative side was not as robust as we would have hoped. So going forward in the new plan, you'll see that we made some changes to address that. We also got lots of feedback from the field. So evaluating NYSED's data collection needs and the feedback from the field, we modified the framework and the questions in the 2018 plan in order to simplify the process for districts and to obtain more usable data for statewide planning purposes. The new plan is a significant departure from the plans that were collected 3 years ago. So it's important to note that districts should not be creating a new plan before they've reviewed the new questions for 2018, because it's not going to be similar to the plan they submitted in the past. The vast majority of districts submitted their technology plans on time in 2016, which was the last year that an update was required, and they have an approved plan on file at NYSED. Districts were allowed to, but were not required to make any updates to their plans in 2017. So most districts did not provide updates to their plans in 2017. All districts with a current who have an approved plan at this time, which is the vast majority of them, will maintain that approved status until the next 3-year plan is due, which is October 26, 2018. District plans, the new 2018-2021 plans must be submitted to NYSED by the October 26th deadline in order for those plans to remain in approved status. And so once the new plan has been submitted, the district will still be in approved status until NYSED reviews that new plan and either approves it or asks for changes. So in discussing the 2018-2021 plan, as we stated in the presentation earlier, this new plan changes the balance of qualitative and quantitative data. The new plan provides a qualitative framework, and it aligns with NYSED initiatives as pointed out by the goals we just reviewed. The goals section of the new plan is structured such that the district is expected to choose which NYSED goal most closely aligns to each of the goals that they choose to list in the plan. The overall goal of this plan is to provide the framework for the district to conduct comprehensive instructional technology planning. It's NYSED's hope that each district will have a comprehensive technology plan that is based upon and or closely related to the information in this NYSED approved plan that they will submit online. So that is our hope, that all districts will have a comprehensive technology plan. And we would expect that many of the RICs will work with their district to help them create that comprehensive plan. But that is a local choice. So as I mentioned, the quantitative data will no longer be in the collection, the plan that's collected online. But the new qualitative focus on the online collection does not mean that NYSED is no longer interested in the collection of technology-related quantitative data. Our plan now is to add the quantitative technology questions to the annual Basic Educational Data System, or BEDS collection, that is submitted through the Student Information Repository, or SIRS. These questions will be released to districts when the BEDS data forms are released in the fall of 2018. They will probably be made, available earlier so that districts can prepare for those responses. And those questions will be primarily at the school level, the quantitative questions, and will be related more towards the hardware, towards the connectivity questions, things like that. Reviewers will not be expected to review this data, as much of it will be submitted at the school level. This slide outlines the suggested planning process for districts as they create their new instructional technology plan. Although updates will not be required each year, this is a 3-year plan submitted in 2018 with no updates required for, it's a 3-year plan, so we do not require updates each year. But it is important that districts evaluate their progress on at least an annual basis and make sure that their efforts in the area of technology, as it shows on the last bullet there, are sustainable. That's a real critical thing to remember. So this is the process. Have the vision, create a plan, implement the plan, evaluate it, and then make sure that it's sustainable. Although there is only one question in the new plan that addresses the issue of evaluating the district's technology plan implementation, this evaluation process is very important. The question in the plan states, how will the instructional technology goals be measured and evaluated both during and after implementation? Be sure to include any tools and/or metrics that are part of this evaluation process. That is the question on evaluation in the tech plan. So districts need to be thinking about that. And here are some, suggestions on how they might go about that. Looking at the what, make sure that the evaluation is aligned to the goals that are put into the plan. Identify the key indicators of success and make sure there is stakeholder input. Good tech plans have very clearly articulated goals. Some districts use the SMART method, which is specific, the goals are specific, measurable, achievable, results-focused, and time-bound. There is no requirement that districts use this method of goal creation. That's a local decision. The important thing is that goals are created and that as far as the evaluation, that the district has some way to measure the success. They think about what does success look like. They will just be able to describe, if we are successful in our plan implementation, students will do X and will be successful at, teachers will, etc. And again, make sure to include stakeholder input and to show the methods for collecting information about the success and failure of the plan implementation. So these are just some suggestions on how to prepare to evaluate the success of the plan. Now we'll review the technology plan framework prior to entering the online application itself. The framework and guidance document contains many details about the plan, and it is posted on the RIC Reviewer Resources page. So please review it thoroughly if you have not already done so. It's been out there for a while, and also keep in mind that this is being recorded on January 17th, so it's been out there since December, that it may have periodic updates. We aren't really going to change the questions that have been posted in there. That would be unusual, but we may change some of the guidance in there, and every time we make a change, we will let the RIC reviewers know that new guidance has been posted, or revised guidance has been posted, and we're maintaining a change log so you know what's been changed. So that document is critical to your review process. So this is the new framework, and we're going to go over this in the portal. And again, the framework and guidance document goes through this in great detail. The district LEA information is just a couple of questions, basically asking for the name, for the title of the name and title of the district administrator who's responsible for entering the plan data, so that we know who we can contact if we have questions. Then the strategic technology planning section is about the overall district mission, the vision, and this is where the district will be required to list at least 3 goals that will drive the attainment of the vision. And they have the option to add a 4th and 5th goal if they so desire. This section also expects the district to summarize the planning process used to develop answers to the instructional technology plan questions and/or the comprehensive plan. It's very important that this summary includes the stakeholder groups that participated and the outcomes of the meetings that were held to do the planning. It's also important to include a professional development plan that shows how the district will build the capacity of educators and administrators in order to attain the instructional technology vision. So this is very important, and as some of you may already know, the professional development plan is very important for districts who are applying for their Smart Schools Bond Act money. You'll notice that throughout the plan there are certain questions that have to be carefully aligned to the Smart Schools Bond Act application, the SSIP, Smart Schools Investment Plan, which means that the Smart Schools Bond Act office that reviews those plans will want to make sure that there is that alignment. So pay attention to those notes in the guidance. And then, like I mentioned just a few minutes ago, there is a question about how the instructional technology goals will be measured and evaluated during and after implementation. So that's critical. Section 3, the action plan. This is where districts are required to outline specific action steps that will be taken to achieve each of the goals presented in Section 2. So first the district will be asked to choose one of the NICEAD goals that best aligns with that particular district's goal. So that's the first step. And then talk about the target populations and that will be addressed with that goal, and then the action steps that will correspond to that goal. And there's also going to be a question about who is the responsible stakeholder to make sure those actions are taken. So that's the action plan. The NICEAD initiatives alignment is primarily asking questions about how the district will use technology to support rigorous academic standards attainment and performance improvement for all students, and how the district will use instructional technology to serve the needs of students with disabilities, and also to serve the needs of students, the needs of English language learners, multilingual learners. So there are several different questions about those two particular student populations. And we will also be asking for information about how districts will use technology to facilitate culturally responsive instruction. So that is the NICEAD initiatives alignment. Administrative management asks about staffing plans, asks about an investment plan, asks about various questions about the district's website, a question about information security and information privacy, and whether the specific individuals have been assigned responsibility for those areas, and that type of policy questions. And also about educating students about cyberbullying awareness and an internet safety policy. So this is more of a policy section, and much of this was initiated by the Chief Privacy Officer at NICEAD. That's the section on administrative management. And then the last section, innovative ed tech programs. This is an optional section where we're asking districts to share innovative educational technology projects and practices. And if they want to share this information, then they can fill this section out. We encourage them to do so. And the responses will be entered into a database in order to share the topics and contact names with other districts upon request. We have not yet determined if that information will be posted on the website, but we definitely will be sharing that information with districts who ask, for that information as far as what districts are conducting ed tech programs on specific topics. So that is something we would ask that you encourage the districts to complete, Section 6, even though it is optional. The system that collects the data is called the SED monitoring system. And this is what the login page looks like. And we encourage you to visit the resource page for RIC reviewers for additional information about the how to enter the portal, how to review plans. There will be posted a RIC reviewers guide there very soon. And we also have the district guide there as well. We have all the resources you could use on your page, and it is not a public page. And all RIC reviewers should have received a link to that resources page. If you have not, please let us know and we'll resend it to you. Okay, so now we are going to go into the portal. This is what it looks like when you go to log in. Go up here on the top right-hand side, and I am logging in as a RIC reviewer. And this is what it looks like when you log in. And you note that this person is only, they are only associated with the EdTech surveys. Some of you might be associated with other surveys as well. And what you need to know is that you must have an account through your RIC, your Regional Information Center. You cannot have access to the surveys to review unless you are entering the portal with your RIC Reviewer account. Yeah, both these accounts will not work. So you click on View Surveys for EdTech. And when surveys have been submitted to you by a district, they will be in your inbox. And then this welcome message explains about the plan. So the districts will see that message when they log in. And you will view the plan over here. You can print a completed plan, or you can print a blank version of the plan. So we're going to view the plan. And as you can see, there are different sections, and they're over on this side. And the district will be completing this, and they cannot move on to the next page unless all the questions are completed. And the Save and Continue button allows the person to save all the data and move forward. So this is the simple Section 1. Section 2, we've added a feature here, which is so that they can do a lot of formatting that was not possible before. So that's a new feature. We've upped the word limits, although we don't really encourage anyone to have a district mission that's 1,000 words long, but we just upped all the word limits for all the questions, so that, because we did have feedback from the field that in some of the questions, the word limits were an issue. For the goals, we have a 500-word limit for each goal, and as you can see, the goals can be formatted as well. And you'll also note that if they want to list a fourth goal, they have a choice, yes or no. So they can list up to 5 goals, but those are not required. And then they will summarize the planning process used to develop the answers to the plan, and the PD, the professional development, and the evaluation. So that's Section 2. Now, Section 3, you'll notice, has the action plans for each of the goals. And if a district decided to do 5 goals, then you would show 4 and 5 would also show up over here. But they don't show up until a district has actually chosen to do 5 goals. So for each goal, there's going to be a separate page in the plan. Restate the goal first, and then select the NYSED goal that best aligns with this district goal, which is what I mentioned earlier. And here are those goals that we talked about before. So the district would choose the one that best aligns with the goal that they're talking about. And these are the target populations. Check all that apply, or identify other if the target population is not included here. And then the action steps. Because of the limitations of this particular online application, we've had to say that all cells in the table must be populated. So if a district has less than 4 action steps for a particular goal, they're going to need to enter NA into columns 2, 3, 4, and 7. So you'll get used to this, and hopefully they will. But all cells must be populated, even if they have less than 4 action steps. You can see that the table allows for 4 action steps. Now, if someone wants to outline more than 4 action steps, they can do that. So, but this next question is totally optional. They can ignore it if they have 4 or less action steps. They just ignore this question. But if they happen to have a complicated goal that needs more than 4 action steps, then they have this section. So that's the action plan. And again, there's one for each goal. And then, as I mentioned, the initiatives alignment is the next section. And this is where they will explain how they will use technology to help support rigorous academic standards attainment, and how they will serve both students with disabilities and English language learners. This is an expanded section from the prior plan. There's more questions about those 2 student groups. And also there's a question on using technology to facilitate culturally responsive instruction. So these are some new questions for this year. And again, these are more qualitative questions. You'll notice that the quantitative questions are gone this year. Administrative management plan, again, staffing, investment plan, which is similar to last year. And then a variety of questions about internet safety policy, cyberbullying policy, Parents' Bill of Rights, et cetera. And this section is has to do with, some of these are required by law. If districts have questions about these different parts of the plan, that if they're not sure how to answer them, then they should probably consult with their counsel, their own counsel. They have a choice to upload the policy to the plan or provide a URL to their policy or state that they just don't have that policy. So this is intended to create a snapshot of where we are at in some of these issues in New York State. It is not, intended to target any one particular district or anything like that. It's for aggregated data purposes only. And then the last page, which I spoke about, is about sharing innovative ed tech programs. So you can see we have a variety of topics, and they can choose other and fill in the blanks. And again, it's all optional, but we do hope that people will complete this and will share their innovative programs. Another way to share the innovative programs is, of course, to contribute articles to our newsletter. I just wanted to put a plug in for that while we're talking about that. So please encourage your districts to complete this section. I'm sure that many of them have some innovative programs they'd be happy to share with other districts. So that's how the portal is going to look. And like I said, there will be a RIC Reviewer resource guide, which will give you some more information on how to use the notes feature, the comments feature, etc. And the notes feature doesn't show up until you've actually they've actually answered some questions, and you can actually respond to their answers. So that's why we don't see it here yet. But the comments feature is on the bottom left, and that shows up before a plan has been submitted. So you'll see that in the RIC Reviewer's Guide. So we're going to leave the portal now, and we're going to return to the slideshow. And now we're going to talk about the review process. This is our anticipated timeline. As I said, the NYSED memo to superintendents and the guidance document were published in December. The SED monitoring system is going to open in probably early February, so if you're listening to this before that, it's not open yet, but it will be open soon. The survey due to RIC for review, it says spring 2018, but that's a local decision. So each regional information center needs to set its own timeline for when the district should submit their initial plan to the RIC reviewers. When the district completes the plan in the portal and certifies and submits it to the RIC, then the RIC reviews it and then sends it on to NICED if it's approvable. That is a local decision for the timing for that. It all depends on how much time the RIC wants to review the plans in order to meet the final deadline of October 26th to submit all plans to NICED. So the regional review process and the dates for that are all local. And really, so is the way that the plans are reviewed. In the prior years, in 2016, some regional information center reviewers use the online system, use the notes system, which is part of the online system, and the comment system, and others did not. So that is, a choice that you have. We really, prefer if you use the online system with the notes and comments features, which you'll see in the RIC Reviewer's Guide, but it's not mandatory. So this is, a lot of this is going to be up to local control. But the deadline, the final deadline when all surveys are due to NICED is October 26th. So that's important to note, to work backwards and set your regional goals. NICED has provided reviewers with a combined review criteria reviewer checklist document that allows reviewers to systematically review the plans to determine if they meet the criteria for approval by NICED. Each RIC will, as it says here, create its own internal process. And as I said, some may utilize the online review system and conduct reviews primarily online using the online notes and comments features, and others may decide to conduct their reviews offline. And again, you'll create your own regional deadlines. But the RIC Reviewer checklist is on the RIC resources page, and it talks about the review criteria. And one of the first criteria is to check that all required questions have been completed. Check to make sure that the questions have been fully answered. So in other words, if a question asks for dates, categories, as responsible stakeholders, make sure that all elements of the question have been answered. And also, it's also important to check that the questions that are required to be aligned with the Smart Schools Bond Act application are aligned if they have a Smart Schools Bond Act application that they are completing. Make sure that there aren't any typos, grammatical errors, or answers that are not consistent with your knowledge of the district and of its educational technology status in general. And make sure that all answers are internally consistent within the plan itself and consistent with the services that are provided to the district by the RIC and or the BOCES. And make sure that all required questions have been answered. So that's the criteria that the review process will be guided by. The next page contains some pointers on how to create and implement a comprehensive technology plan. These pointers were provided by one of the RIC reviewers. Each RIC will have its own methods for assisting its districts in the planning process. It's hoped that most, if not all, districts will not only complete the online plan through this NICED application, but will create a comprehensive technology plan that is closely aligned with the district's strategic planning initiatives. There are many ways to create a comprehensive technology plan. It's expected that each RIC will have its own approach to this issue based upon the needs of the districts within the region. But this slide has some good suggestions on how a district could create a great comprehensive technology plan. So going forward, it is up to each regional information center to finalize and continue refining its regional process, to provide district support during the plan creation and submission process, and to ensure that all districts know whom to contact at their RIC, that key contact, when they need assistance with their technology planning. NICED publishes a list of RIC reviewers on its District Technology Plan Resources page, so that ensures that all districts can find the key contacts for assistance with their technology plan. And when they call into us or email us, we do direct them back to their regional information center, although we're certainly, happy to answer basic questions that they might have. We will generally then contact their RIC reviewer to let that reviewer know that the district, has contacted us looking for information. We always encourage the districts who contact us to work closely with their RIC reviewers. So here's the contact information. That's our general number, phone number, and email address, and then my direct line and email address. And like I mentioned, if I'm not available, there's Joanne Shawn and John Campano, who also are involved with the technology planning process and review. But I am the key person that you should contact. And I thank you for reviewing this training. And please, again, call us if you have any questions. And we really appreciate the work you are doing to work with the districts to assist them with this plan. So thank you very much.